Back at it with another fantastic episode of the Nick vs. Everyone podcast. And today with me is my cousin Kiana. Kiana, thank you for joining me on the podcast. What's good?
Nothing much, just life. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and you're what year are you? A junior or senior? It's like in the middle, isn't it? Like you're just finishing up, but I don't know what your credit situation look like.
Yeah, so I'm actually a senior this semester, so I'll be
Nice.
graduating next fall.
Yeah, sweet. And you're going
Mm-hmm.
to Grand Valley, yeah?
Yep.
Nice. What's your major?
I'm majoring in liberal arts with an emphasis in graphic design.
Dang, that was so like you could have just said graphic design.
Yeah, but it sounds more fancy.
Yeah, like when I tell people like what my degree was, like, yeah, it's pre-med, but I could be like, it's I have a bachelor's in
Mhm.
I don't even know what it is. It's like the arts and pre-professional. It's like a bachelor's in art science with an emphasis on pre-professional medicine or something crap like that. I'm just like, dude,
See,
it's
that
pre-med.
sounds fancy.
Don't try to church it up.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So I'm excited that you are going into graphic design because you've always been into art, into all that good stuff, and you're good at drawing, and you've always been like a creative person that got those Filipino creative genes. And yeah, how you been liking it so far?
I've been liking it. Wasn't my first choice going into college, like I was actually gonna go for law and like
Hmm.
art was just a hobby, but I took like a gap year there for a few and I realized
Yeah.
like how much I liked art and I was like, why can't I make a career out of it since I'm so passionate about it? And going back to school and doing it, I've like fell in love with it like that much more. Like just the amount of things I can do with it and where I can go with it has really inspired me to keep going.
Yeah, because that's ultimately what's important. The worst thing that you can do is be doing something every single day and not be like, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that. I didn't want to just be
Hmm.
like in the office like, "Oh, I'm making good money," but it's just like, "Nah."
Yeah. Um, and you went into law most likely because of like the whole like Asian thing, like lawyer, doctor, and then that's it. Right?
Yep, exactly that. I
Or a
was
nurse.
like,
I guess if you're Filipino, nurse as well.
yeah, but I was like, everyone in our family is basically medical, and I was like, maybe law, but nah,
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, that's why I tell everybody at work. I'm like, yeah, my whole entire family is either nurses or doctors, and I'm the only one that's not.
That part, yep.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
went against the grain.
yeah. I don't even know if I went against the grain. I just figured it out, man. I just, I my degrees in pre med was going down the route of physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Was on a wait list for U of M Flynn, and an opportunity came up to work for this marketing company that I worked with in the past. And I was like, man, do I really want to go back to school and be in $100,000 more of debt? And then a PT like starts around like 60 something a year. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay. So I'm going to be like over 100K in debt, coming out making 60, 70K, depending on what field, obviously. But I was like, that math doesn't sound too good. And then I worked in an actual hospital for a year, and hospitals are depressing.
Mm. No, they are.
Like everything's white, everything's like brick and tile, and obviously no one's happy being there because they're sick or they're like burnt out because of staff. It's really the culture of hospitals is tough. Now I will say that the physical therapy office that I was in were awesome. Like we had a good culture in there, but I just know um, people get burnt out and stuff, and people don't get paid enough in hospitals. Um,
That's true.
but so yeah, then I decided to go a different route and kind of just figured it out, try to find different opportunities, and I just knew that if I got the right opportunity, that people would see my value of what I can bring to the table, and just kind of figured it out. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have that kind of path. It's that they go to
Yeah.
school for something, especially like around our age and stuff, and then they get into the field or don't get into the field and end up somewhere else that they never thought they'd be into.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people I talk to are like, "Oh, I wish that I had taken like a gap year because now I want to switch my major," or they already graduated and they're like, "Oh, this is not kind of where I want to go anymore. So like, where do I go from
hmm
here?"
And then you get to like the point of no return, where it's just like, oh yeah, I only got 10 credits, and I don't really want to do this, and I only got like 1 year left or one semester left, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna finish out and just figure it out. I guess
It
it's
is
like,
what
all
it
right,
is.
yeah. Now the good news is that a lot of times when you're like applying for jobs and stuff, a lot of it is just like so much is they say it all the time. It's cliche, like who you know, not what you know, and like what you look like on
Mhm.
paper.
Yep.
But most of the time, it's just like all you need is a 2 year degree. All you need is a 4 year degree. Like this, that, and the other. But like, unless you're like valedictorian, like something crazy that really jumps off at you, like you're just
Mhm.
one of many. It's a lot of times just who you know and the connections you make. It's
Yep.
kind of not cool. I know that I applied for so many jobs when I was looking for a job, and like I didn't even get interviews or nothing. And I just know that those people messed up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think like the one thing that people have told me that are already graphic designers are like, you need like work experience. Like do freelancing, do as many internships as you can before you graduate because they're going to look at like all the things you've done, not like your grades or your GPA at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah, and take advantage of like social media and stuff, and
Mhm.
post your stuff, and if you, I mean, if you have like a following of like your designs and stuff like that, I mean that I feel like that's all you really need when it comes to that stuff. Like, I don't know, there's like people that do like NFTs and stuff that have like millions of followers or whatever, and like just like walk up to the person and be like, hey man, I got like a real following here. Like I really do
Yeah.
this, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's just a
You know.
done deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that, at the same time, those people are probably making money on their own. So, but but yeah, that's a weird one because you can have a crap ton of experience in it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that doesn't really mean anything because it's art.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
either you're good or you're not. And like when you get into the corporate world, graphic design in the corporate world is very boring. I mean, you can
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
church it up and make it cool, but at the end of the day, like you don't really need that much creativity and that much juice to be able to do that job. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of graphic designers in that instance, like they'll do that and then they'll like actually have their passion projects on the side.
Yeah. I did an internship for a small business and like you said, it's just very bleh. And it's
Yeah.
just more about like trying to spice up the layouts, but not really any like designs or creativity that goes with it. And I realize that's not the direction I want to go.
Here's
So,
the crazy thing is that you're taking direction from people that like aren't artists and aren't creative at all and like
mhm.
need their wife or husband or whoever someone else to dress them to go to work and like so their colors coordinate and then they're the ones making decisions on what looks good or not.
Yeah, no, honestly, the funny thing is like, I love fashion. So when I was going to my internship, obviously I dressed up like professional, but not like I add a little spice to a little fashion, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like my supervisor was always like, Kiana, you don't have to like dress up like all good and everything. Like I don't even look that good. I was like, hey, that's you. This is me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There are some people, but I feel like if you're the graphic designer, like
Mhm.
at the company, like you can pretty much be pretty extravagant because you're like, oh yeah, they're an artist, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
they you can kind of get away with it because you're not like really client facing for the most part,
Yeah. Exactly,
right?
yeah.
You're just behind the scenes. I know that I work for a marketing company that was doing graphic designs, and it's like a lot of it's it's like a lot of like pictures of cars, and like it's not like some raps. It's like so I don't know, just so like on nothing, no no juice to it, no
Mm.
sparkle. It's just it's crazy because like I know that people are like super creative in it, and like once they get into it, it's like you almost have to have something on the side, like you do your own graphic designs of stuff on the side. Like, have you ever heard of
Mhm.
Beeple? I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I've
like
heard a
the
little,
big
yeah.
NFT guy, and like that's all he does is just like make graphic designs of whatever he wants to make, and every single day he drops one or whatever. And like I'm sure he had a job where he's just like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he sold like a bunch of them, like a whole portfolio of them for like millions and millions of dollars or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, I just feel like when it comes to graphic design, you still have to have like your own flair to it and do your own thing on the side just to keep it fresh because you can only do so many boring things over and over and over again
Yeah. Yeah.
before
I
like
think the
bleh.
I think the hardest thing about graphic design is like trying to find your own like little niche, like what makes you stand out from everyone else, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been trying to find that, and I feel like a lot of people have come to me in the past semester or so telling me like my little niche is like every time they see my design, there's some sort of cultural influence in it.
Mm,
So I didn't necessarily like think that, oh, this is my niche, so I'm gonna add this to everything. But it's just like
mm-hmm.
something that everyone started to notice, like with all my designs, is kind of like what I started to have. So
What type of cultures do you think that those are?
um I think a lot of it is Asian influence, but there is times where I do like have the Italian, like the European side of me also get influenced into my designs too, here and there.
Mm. Was that
Yeah.
like recently? Since I know that you just visited Europe like within the last like year or so. Like
Yeah,
did
actually, yeah.
yeah,
That did have big influence, yeah.
nice.
I think when you go to a country at like physically go there, it's like you get to see like kind of like their atmosphere and their designs and like how they do things. And so like I think you're more influenced in that way than if you're just looking it up on a computer, you know?
Yeah. Especially if it's like tagged onto an emotion, right? Like you were having a great
Mhm.
time or even like if like something bad or something, like just emotion always is the driving force to stuff. So if you had a great time or that's gonna stick with you, like you went to Japan for a while too,
Mhm.
and like I'm sure you had great memories there and stuff like that. And yeah, and then that's just kind of like your DNA at the end of the day when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
What program do you use to do that stuff?
Um, so I use a lot of the Adobe programs, but I also am starting to use Figma, which is like another big graphic design program, but I'm just starting to
Mm,
learn it. So,
yeah,
and obviously I know how to use Canva, but Canva's very limited
yeah,
to like what
for
you
sure.
can create.
Yeah, that's what I use on my stuff. It's just Canva. That's
Mm-hmm.
what Rachel uses on a lot of stuff, just like basic templates and stuff like that. It
Yeah,
makes it super easy. I
it
try to
does.
get into like Adobe and stuff a little bit, but it's just like such a beast. And like, I didn't want, I'm not patient enough to try to figure it out.
Oh, yeah, the one thing being thrown into the program, is, like, none of my classes or, like, any of my professors were like, "Oh, let me teach you how to use this," right? They were just like, "Here's your, project and, like, figure it out." So, like, a
Yeah.
lot of YouTube searching and just messing around and, like, trying to figure out, like, the different tools and stuff, and, like, even to this day, I'm still learning new things in the program, like, there's so much things that, like, you don't know about.
Yeah. That's how I kind of learned Logic um, X Pro, which is the program I use to make music. Is
Mhm.
just straight YouTube videos, and like I know 5% up, maybe even less than that. Like, but I know enough just to be able to make a song and edit some audio and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like there's so many things. Like I feel
Mhm.
like you could study it and do stuff for 10 years and still like, wow, this is
Learn.
something new and da da da
Yeah.
da. That'd
Yep.
be the most frustrating thing. I think that's the most frustrating thing when it comes to designing for me is that I have it in my head. I can see it in my head. It's just like
Mhm.
putting it there. It's like the right color, like the right shade of color or whatever you're trying to find and like tinkering with it and stuff like that. I think that
Mhm.
then I get impatient. I'm just like, oh, it's right there. I know exactly what I want. You know what I mean?
Mhm. No, yeah, I definitely know there's times where I'm like that, and then I'm like, "Okay, I gotta walk away or, like, work on a different project because like, right now I cannot."
Yeah. But
I
yeah, I
get
think that
frustrated.
like if I could go back, I might go into graphic design because I find myself um I don't know, just when I'm like designing stuff for the podcast or whatever, um I just find myself just like time flying by and me like still being like energized to keep going and making stuff and editing and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Always thought that stuff was cool.
Yeah, and you can use graphic design for so many things, even for, like, your own personal business, like, you'll be able to make your own website, logos, and all that stuff, so
Hmm.
that's nice to have.
Yeah, 1000%. But
Mhm.
yeah, so a little background about us is that obviously you're my cousin, um, and we didn't grow up together like at all.
Mm-mm. No, we
Um,
didn't.
you lived in multiple places, so Reno,
Mhm.
South Carolina, Nebraska,
Yep.
Fargo, um,
Colorado.
Michigan,
Yep.
Colorado.
Yep.
So a bunch of places around the U.S. I lived in Michigan, and basically I would only see you when I would visit my dad in the summers, which was not very long. Um,
Mhm.
and a lot of times they were in different states, right? So we would literally not see each other. And then so I moved to Fargo, North Dakota, and lived with your mom and your brother John, and then you eventually moved there with your dad, and
Yep.
that's when we kind of started to get to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely got a lot closer then.
Yeah, we had nothing else to do, right?
No, there was nothing else to do in that state. Yeah.
What'd you
Good
think
old
of
North
Fargo?
Dakota. Oh. I you know, maybe some people love Fargo. I personally don't.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's too cold. Like people say Michigan's cold, which is
yeah.
like, yeah, but like Fargo just hits a different type of cold
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
like for a longer period and there's like nothing to do for like hours and hours away, right? So,
Yeah, it's really weird how the state it's so farm heavy that I tell people that there are hubs of cities. So it's like a city and then one road to the next city, which is like an hour or two away, and then a
mhm,
hub of a city. So it's just like little pockets of people connected by like one road essentially. And then everything in between that are farmland and nothing and
mhm.
flat and
No
dirt
trees, just flat.
essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no trees, right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, you're pretty isolated when it comes to. Now, you have in Fargo, you had everything that you needed,
Yep.
right? You had
Mhm,
all
that's true.
the Targets and Walmarts and all the commercial stuff that you need. I thought the downtown was pretty cool. It was small, it was more liberal, so a little
Mhm.
bit more artsy, cool coffee
Mhm.
shops. They had some bars that were fun to go to. I didn't really go to the bars very much, but I did go to coffee shops quite a bit
Mhm.
and just like work on designs or read a book and stuff because I just needed like some type of like, I don't know, going out stuff, and I didn't really have anybody to go out with.
Yeah.
Um, But I did go out by myself a few times, like to listen to live music and stuff,
Yeah.
which is obviously way out of my comfort zone. But I was just like, dude, you're not about to just work and go home and like,
Do
so like,
nothing.
and it was really weird. So I went out by myself one night and it was like live music. I Googled live music and there was this bar that was like basically like almost like a truck stop almost. It was weird. It was like a bar, but it had a stage. It was actually not bad whatsoever. But
Oh,
walking into that
interesting.
thing, I thought I was, you know, it was not good. It was not
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
obviously I was like super nervous, and it was awesome because like the band that played wasn't not the music that I liked, but they were like at least entertaining. So I had a good time.
Mhm.
Had a good time when I win. And the funniest thing ever happened is like there's this lady. I was like by myself, and there's this lady, and she was a lady. She was like 50, and she might have been a truck driver, not sure, but
Mm.
good chance. And she like was straight up trying to hit on me and stuff, and I was like my nice self. Like I never like. I mean, I
No.
never come off like off-putting to people, right? I try not to be, and like
Mhm.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
and she was just like, I was like, no, I'm just, oh god, I'm good, and she was like,
She's like, "What a cutie."
yeah, and she was like, I don't know, she was trying to bring me back to her like, her, her 16 wheeler or what, but yeah. So long story short, that's the last time I went out by myself, pretty much, but
Mm. Well, I've never experienced the bars there because I wasn't old enough. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, you went to you did. Oh, I guess yeah. You weren't. There wasn't like an 18-year-old like bar there?
there was like to a certain time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
To a
was
certain time?
alright.
What was the time? Like
I think it was
this.
like 9 p.m. or
Oh,
something.
dang.
Yeah, mostly me and my friends just like ate at restaurants. I mean, they had some good restaurants there here and there, like little hidden gems, but
What restaurants? I forget the restaurant scene there.
there was like the boiler room, which had like good scotch eggs, and it's like in the
What?
basement of a
You said
building.
what? What's
They had
what oh,
scotch eggs.
what's that?
Wait, you've been to the boiler room, right?
I don't know. But I
Oh,
definitely did not eat a
no
scotch
scotch
egg for
egg.
sure. No, for sure not. Nope.
Okay, well, scotch egg is basically like a boiled egg, and then they like deep fry the outside, and then there's like a special sauce that goes over it, like a spicy sweet sauce.
Okay. That
It's
doesn't
pretty
sound too
fire.
bad.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Asian people would do. Like, you know how they have like egg
Yeah.
and everything? That doesn't sound
Yep.
too bad. I thought it was going to be like, you know how you have a pickled egg? Like I thought it was
Oh
going to be like scotch pickled egg. I'm like, no,
no,
not good.
no! You're like Kiana. No, what are you eating? What the
Okay.
heck? No, no. Yeah, no. That and a blackbird pizza I thought was good, but
And I don't remember any of these places. I guess I didn't really go out to eat that much.
spicy pie wasn't that the name of it?
Spicy pie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
went there
big
a few
pizza place.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just remember like fast food places like Sonic. I think I remember Um, I remember a couple coffee shops and that. Wasn't there? What was the big
Mm.
bar there? It wasn't like
Oh, I know
the
what you're talking about. Broadway or something?
yeah, yeah, that was it.
Was that
The
it?
coolest thing that I thought Fargo had was that they allowed for blackjack to be played at their bars, like
Oh,
anywhere.
really?
Yeah,
I didn't
and
know that.
they were like really cheap. So I think the law is you can have those things, but it has to be for like charity. So
Oh,
like
okay.
they had maximum bets. Like you couldn't. I don't think you could like bet $100 a hand, but it was like $1 minimums. So like you go
That's
back
cheap.
there with $20 and just play a little bit just for fun, type
Mm-hmm.
of deal. So I thought that was the coolest thing ever because like in Michigan, you have to go to an actual casino or like an Indian casino to go play. But here, you just go to your local bar and there's like some tables, and it wasn't like sketchy either. It was just like regular, like if you were to go to a casino. And I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was the coolest thing ever. And then in South Dakota, there's slot machines everywhere. So it was like a different thing.
Mm,
Like instead of a card table, it was like slot machines, like at a gas station.
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I did like though that you could like head over to Minnesota and like at 18 you could go to the casinos and gamble.
Oh,
So
that's
like
the law
that was
there,
cool.
18?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause that
Yeah.
one, yo, before before you moved out there, me and your mom, I don't know if Johnny, Johnny was there, but for some reason, I don't. Sometimes it was just me and your mom going to the casino,
Mhm.
and I swear we went maybe 3 weeks out of like 4 months, or like 3 times out of like 5 weeks, or something like that on the weekend,
Mhm.
and I won like over $1,000 altogether up there, and like the luckiest things were like happening to me, and your mom was losing and I was winning, and I was like, let's go.
Did you sit next to her?
Yeah, a lot of times. So there's this game. It was like ultimate poker, and I've never played before in my life. It's like it's on a table,
Mhm.
and like obviously same thing as poker, like the hands. And like I was getting like the most unlikely hands, like four of a kind. Like I think I got a royal flush a couple times. Like
No, that's crazy.
and the way the game's set up is like you get odds on those things. So like the harder hand you get, I think like the more money you you're getting in. So like the harder it is, the better odds you have to win more money. So like I
Mhm.
was getting the hardest hands, and I was only betting like 12. I think it was like $12 a hand. Like there's three spots you can bet. So yeah, $12, and then I was like just racking up money like this hand, and just like one time Nate was there with me, and like I think it was a four of a kind, and we were like, I got three, like need one, need one, need one, need one, and I got it, and me and Nate were like, yeah, and like freaking like $200 win or $300 win or whatever it was, and it was sweet. But yeah, that casino was cool. I
Mhm.
know you went there a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Every time I went there, if I started losing money, I would go over to the roulette, like video virtual
yeah.
table,
Hmm.
and I just instantly start winning there and like win back my money or some, and then be like, okay, let me go play a different machine now.
That sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You just should keep playing the game that you're winning at. But
I
all right.
mean, yeah, but then like at some point you're like, I'm tired of this game. Let me play somewhere else. You know what I mean?
No, I've never been like, hey, I'm tired of winning. This is not fun anymore.
No.
Yeah, dude. This winning thing and just getting free money is like not fun anymore. I'm just gonna go lose. I want to just go lose for
What?
a little bit. That's never
Sometimes
happened
it
now.
sometimes it would just be kind of quiet, and then you're like at your like point where you're like you've won enough, and then it's like it hasn't been hitting here
Oh, you have a
anymore. So you're
limit on like what you want to win. That's weird
no.
also.
But if the machine isn't hitting, then you're like, oh, let
I
me try a
gotcha.
different. You know what
No,
I
I gotcha.
mean?
Like you win, and then you're like, so for me, the way that I safely gamble is that once I'm
Hmm.
up, let's say I'm up $100, I'm like, okay, if I get down to 50, I'm done, or
Yep.
like I'm even. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Hmm.
put $25 in, I'm up 50. Okay, like if it's late in the night or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
then you blow it all or whatever. But like if you're up like $100 and you're like, all right, I'm leaving up. What's that number? And then once you get
Yeah.
that number, you leave, right? So you're
Yep.
saying that like you won so much, and you're like, all right, I'm losing, and then I hit that number, like, all right, let me go try to find something
I mean,
else or something.
yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
do.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I haven't won at a casino in a while. I don't bet a lot, and I don't bring a lot to the casino, so it's not like I
Hmm.
lose a lot of money. But for a while there, like in my earlier years, I was winning like consistently. Um,
Consistently.
Yeah, like weird stuff. Like, I think I won like $500 one night playing blackjack at like at in Detroit sometime, and like I was down. Like I think I brought my rule was bring 60, and if you lose 60, who
Hmm.
cares what $60 is? If you lose 100, you're like, dang, I just lost $100,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I started with 60, and I think it was like $15 hands, and I got all the way down to my last $20, and like it was back and forth. So I wasn't just losing. So it was back and forth. So down my last $20, it might have been $10 hands. And so like we're about to leave. I'm like, all right, let's just blow this last $20. Like, what am I gonna do $20 with? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like go. So me and my friend put the 20 down, and we just start hitting. Like it went from like we have $20 left to like, all right, now we're betting like 40, $50 a hand type deal. Like,
Jeez.
yeah. And so I flipped that 20 into like five something. And then on the way home, we were just like, had the money in our hand, just like
Like, oh
fanning
yeah.
myself off. Like, it was freaking sweet. I was so hyped. It was the best thing ever.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, I haven't really gone. There's like a casino like maybe 25 minutes from me, and then another
Okay.
casino maybe 45 minutes from me. But me and Rachel like never go. Um,
Mm,
yeah, but I'm trying to go to Vegas here soon.
again?
Yeah, we
Ooh,
like
Vegas
food
was
out there,
fun.
man. Yeah,
Vegas
just
was
sit by
fun.
the pool. I don't even bet that much at Vegas. Like I don't bring that much money, but
Hmm.
like just to eat, sit by the pool, relax, and it's like cheap. Like a
Yeah.
flight from here round trip is like $100.
Yeah. Well,
California to Nevada.
even when we were there, I didn't spend a lot of money gambling.
Yeah.
Just like here and there. Most of it was
Mm.
spent with you guys or like trying different food. I wish I ate more Filipino food while I was there, but
Yeah, that's a tough thing because unless you have a car, like for us, we just like
hmm
Uber back. We don't rent a car. And yeah, they're kind of farther out, but there's so much Filipino food there.
yeah. Well, I saw a little small like Filipino thing in the food court in the Venetian, and I was like, man, I wish I
In the
knew
Venetian,
sooner. Yeah, I would
they
have tried it.
nice. They have one at Resort World.
Oh,
It's like a
really?
new, it's like a newer hotel casino, a little bit
Mm.
farther from the strip, but they
Mm-hmm.
have a food court of like a bunch of different Asian. They're definitely catering to Asian people to go to this place because
We
it's
should have went there.
like there's a Filipino one, and then there's like I think there's like dim sum, like dumplings, and like
Mm.
so they have like Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, like one like each booth or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
that place is pretty sweet. I like that
Oh.
place. But yeah, going to Vegas is sweet because the tickets are usually cheap. The hotel rooms are like affordable. You can find a place like I think like the Luxor is like $50 a night or something like that, like super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But like for us going down to San Diego, it's like 150, 200, 3, 400 a night or whatever just to go down there. I'm like, well, we could get a flight and a hotel room for cheaper than that, like in Vegas. You know what I
That's
mean? So
crazy.
yeah, we like going to Vegas just for a few days or whatever. And Rachel just likes to sit by the pool and
Mm-hmm.
relax and eat food. So
Eat
that's
all the
always
good
what we like
food.
to do. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Dang.
And so you went to so after I left Fargo, you what was like you went to what school was that school? Moorhead State.
I went to Minnesota State in Moorhead.
Yeah, Minnesota State, and you played
Yep.
golf.
Yep, I played golf for them. Yep.
Yeah. How? Tell me about that because I don't really know much about it.
About the golf experience or like the school in
Yeah, the
general?
school, the golf experience, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I know that. I mean, obviously, you left there,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I know it was like not ideal place to play golf when it's -40, but so it makes total sense. But yeah, tell me
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. I honestly didn't like it. I met some of my like best friends from there, Mika.
Mike, yeah,
Yeah, good old Mike. Which is probably like the best thing that came out of my experience there.
yeah,
But I went there to play golf. Was like I had a lot of different choices to pick from, but my family was like, "Oh, go there. You'll be able to be closer to home," kind of deal.
yeah.
And they were offering quite a bit for my scholarship, so I was like, "Okay, bet." Right. So I went
Mm-hmm.
there. At first, it wasn't bad, But as I continued to go there, like I was having roommate problems, which there's a lot of stories behind that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And this was not Mika.
this was not Mika. Mika was my
Mika get turned.
yeah.
Mika get crazy.
Mika gets hurt. Mika was my second roommate after my first roommate moved out, and
Yeah.
that was quite an experience on its own. But playing golf, like coming in as a freshman, I ended up being like athlete of the week. I was having like not to flex or anything, but I was having like the best scores at that time for my team, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like when you're in a team, you should support each other no matter who's doing better than the other. And if like you want to do better than that person, then like work harder, practice more, do things
Yeah.
right. Um, but like my team, besides like one or two girls, a lot of them just like had beef with me.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever we had workouts in the morning, it's like they were trying to compete who could like do more weights, who could run further, who could
Uh,
do this longer, right? Or even at practice, it was like always like a competition with me. And I like try not for it to be like that. So I spent a lot of time with my coach actually, because she was very supportive of me and like helping me out and stuff. So I really appreciate that. But I didn't really like being in a team where I didn't feel like I fit in completely.
yeah.
So even though golf is an individual sport, you know, you can play by
Yeah.
yourself and still do well.
Mhm.
But with that, like even like my classes, there is just I don't know, some people like the school there, but in my own experience I had one professor who was like discriminating against a lot of students and I was one of them.
Yeah.
And I was able to build up like a whole case on it and he ended up getting fired like a year after I left. But
Was it a white guy?
no, he was actually Japanese, which
No
is
way.
yeah,
The
it's
only
kind of
Japanese
surprising.
person. The only Japanese person in Minnesota, probably.
Yeah, no, probably.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's wild.
yeah, that was very crazy. And
Hey,
so,
what an idiot. First of all, like, you're just gonna get away with it? Like, come on, man.
yeah, it was
Just
it
not the
was
smartest
it
move.
was stupid. Yeah, it was like I would write a paper, you know, with
Mm,
like a group, and he would like give us all our papers back if mine wouldn't have a grade on it, and I'd like go up to him like, "Hey, like mine didn't have a grade on it," and he would just like take an expo marker and like write a 0 on it, and then I'd be like, "What's wrong with it?" And he's like,
yeah.
"It's like Wikipedia," and I was like, what? Like we all use the same resources, you know? And then he just
Yeah.
would like shush me away and I was like, what is going on, you know?
Yeah, like it's definitely more than zero. Zero is like no work at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
either you cheated or you didn't turn in anything. That's a zero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, you know,
uh,
yeah. So
yeah,
it
that's
was a
right.
lot of things going on at that school that chose me to decide to leave and go
Bounce.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you told me that you're recently thinking about getting back into golf.
Yeah, so this past summer I actually joined First Tee, so I was a golf coach for them this past summer. And then this
Uh,
coming up summer I've been thinking about playing some tournaments, getting back into it, doing some qualifiers, you know, just for fun because I miss the competition, but you never know if it leads somewhere, it leads somewhere.
yeah.
Hmm.
Do you plan on like training for it?
Yeah, I was doing quite a bit of golf this past summer because like I've realized how much I miss the game and like I
Hmm.
miss being that athletic part of me and like I don't know, I miss the competition. So,
Yeah.
yeah, as soon as it starts warming up again, I'm definitely going to start uh, practicing more and more. But even like when I go to my uncle's house down here on my dad's side, like he has like a little putt putt thing in his
Hmm.
basement, so I'll be down there like doing some putt putt stuff.
Just practices and stuff.
Yeah. Or you know, like at my parents' house, we'll like hit over their pond with golf balls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you ever
so
go out and get those balls back, or are they just gone?
no, we do. We like my dad would be like, here's a ball catcher, go fetch. I'll be like,
I
oh,
gotcha.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
No, that's cool though. I got a set of clubs here finally. And I tried to like I YouTube stuff and like learn how to like I've never been taught how to swing correctly. I've
Mm-hmm.
just been like making it work essentially. Yeah, and it was really cool because Rachel for Christmas got me like uh someone to like consult on my swing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you, like I miss being competitive and miss the pressure and
Mm-hmm.
being competitive and athletic and things like that. So it's just something to get better at, kind of like this podcast. It's just something that just always building, always getting better
Working.
at something, always. And so I'm excited about that, and I can finally like hit a ball straight, like a driver
Mm-hmm.
straight, and like in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That was always like my weak part was like my irons are money,
Yeah.
but my like no one told me that like driver swings are different than like
Different.
iron swings.
Yeah, like way
You know what I
different.
mean? Yeah, like way
Yeah.
different. And so I
Mm-hmm.
finally was able like to kind of figure that one out. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting better. I still never lost to you before, but I'm still getting better and trying to figure it out.
Okay, we've only played in Fargo first off. So this summer, if you be down in Michigan, like I'm game.
Yeah, but you never beat me though, right?
But okay, never doesn't mean it won't happen. Okay, it's been a couple years, you know.
you've
Just saying.
never you've never beaten me.
Before
So
we
yes,
played when I was in
you can
high
just say,
school.
"Yep, you're right,
No,
Nick. I've
no.
never
Because the
beaten you."
last time we played was like when I was in high school in Fargo. This has been years. Okay.
And you're
I've
like practicing
improved.
like you're good, like you've been
Eh,
practicing. You just had your season. You're
eh.
about to go to play college golf. I play like once every 3-4 months.
I hey that day I don't know what it was. Okay, you were just
I,
lucky.
I just got you off your game. That's just what it is. I can just talk you out of playing good. That's just what it comes down to.
Okay, but
So,
my mental has gotten a lot better. So like it's not gonna happen again. So just
yeah.
wait. Just wait. Next time, then you'll be like, man,
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you'll ever beat me. I'm just
Uh,
a natural.
oh,
But
natural.
you can try. You can try. You can die trying, pretty much. But
Oh, that's okay. Keep talking. We'll see. We'll see. And then when I win, I'm gonna be like, so what was that?
yeah, that all sounds so good. Yeah, remember that. That sounds good.
I mean,
That
this
sounds
is
real good.
recording for proof, right? So like later on,
Oh yeah, keep this, save it,
yeah,
bookmark it, like whatever you need to do.
got it for reference.
Put on a floppy drive, like
Uh
whatever you
huh.
need to do it. Just
Uh
keep
huh.
it
I'm gonna have it
locked
right on
away.
my phone. When we play, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Like, oh, you remember this?
I'm like, yeah, I do, and you still lost. That's sweet,
Nah, I
right?
don't know
That
what
just
you're
shows
talking
how
about.
smart I was,
I don't know
right?
what you're talking about. Try and
but
predict
yeah,
the future.
but yeah, we'll play this summer, hopefully, and like I said, I'm just getting better because I got a little range right down the road.
Uh huh.
I got some nice, and the clubs I was using, they
What
were
kind of
like
clubs?
I don't even know, man. They were like Rams. They had like dents in
Okay.
them. They had like
Oh.
literally. I had Ram golf clubs that I got when I was like 12, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like I'm still using them when I'm 10, 15 years older. And they had like dents of where the ball like was getting hit, right? Over and over again. So
Mm-hmm.
there was literally like a groove of where I was hitting the ball, like perfectly in the center, but there was still a groove, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's the worst clubs ever, and still like I
Still,
do
still.
this.
Um,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. No, that's what happens. You know, it's not about the
Yeah,
equipment; it's about the player.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just wake up and I just do this. You know
You
what I mean?
just breathe daily
Hmm.
athleticism. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. It's crazy. It's like God given. It's nuts.
Well, it's like about every other sport. besides golf. So I'm not gonna let you beat me at this one. So
Okay. That's what I like the best. Is like beating someone at their sport. Is like that's what makes it fun.
is that
You
what
know what I
makes
mean?
it fun?
That's what makes it fun.
What
Yeah.
makes it fun is when someone thinks they're gonna win, like they got it in the bag, and then you take
Mm-hmm.
it away, and they're like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't
Oh,
even think you
what?
were competition.
And you know what's the worst feeling is like thinking that you're going to shut them up and then you're not able to. That hurts.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I read it in a book somewhere, I
Oh,
think.
really?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think?
It was in my pre med. It was like psychology or something, probably. I don't know.
Oh,
But
probably
yeah. Yeah.
sound like the
Psychology
Nicola Daga
class.
book.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's my degree. So
It's okay.
I
It's
think
okay.
I know what I'm talking about for sure.
We'll just go with that. We'll say you know.
Yeah. But now you're at Grand Valley.
Yes.
All is good. Way better
hmm
college.
Yeah. No, I honestly love it. Like the professors, the people here, it's a really good atmosphere to be in, and I've joined so many different organizations and stuff, so it's always
Yeah.
something new to try.
It's good when, I don't know if you remember, but when you were looking at potential schools to go into in Michigan, you were new to
hmm
Michigan, and I was just like, you had like Western on your list, you had MSU on your list, you had Grand Valley on your list, and I was like, you need to check out Grand Valley. I hear really good things about
Yeah.
that. And I always tell people too, like when you go to college, join as many, what are they called? Groups. What are they called?
Clubs, organization
Clubs,
and stuff. Yeah.
organizations as possible because that's like how you make friends.
Yeah, yeah. No, especially because when I joined Grand Valley, it was a winter semester and during COVID, so all the classes were online. There was like
Mm,
nothing going on in person, right? So, and I was
hmm.
like new to Grand Rapids area too and Michigan, so like I didn't have any friends. And so I was like, what can I join to make friends, right? And so I ended up I ended up joining an Asian interest sorority, not exclusive
Nice.
to Asians, but
Yeah.
and like from that, I was able to make so many good friends, like friends that I
Yeah.
travel with to this day. And then like from
Hmm.
there, I've got to know other people and then like joined their organizations too. So it's kind of just like spread it out.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some more Asian fraternities and sororities and stuff like that. And I think at U of M for sure, but I don't know if there was at
hmm
Oakland. But yeah, me and Nate were never did a fraternity or sorority, obviously. But we joined the Filipino Association at U of
hmm
M, and that was like some of the funnest times and like the best people I met throughout my college years for sure.
Yeah. They actually, at Grand Valley, a semester after I joined, they started up a new Filipino organization here. So
Really
it's
sick.
fun because they have like a lot of like picnics and they cook all the good food, and then we play a lot of
Yeah.
Filipino games or like learn the dances, and then sometimes they do collabs with like Michigan State. So
Yeah. Yeah, so Michigan and Michigan State Filipino groups are really close, and we did this thing called the Rice Bowl every year,
mm-hmm.
where we would like compete in 5 different sports or events, and like the winner after those 5 events were the Rice Bowl champions, and they literally had like a rice bowl painted like blue or green for like whoever won the previous year. Like it
Okay.
was like 4 sports. It was like football, basketball, relay race, volleyball, and like an eating contest. So it was like
Cool.
always like something super fun and to meet other people and be competitive and stuff like that. And it was always something I always look forward to. So
Yeah.
maybe, uh, yeah. So if the Grand Valley people are close with state people, maybe you guys ran into the Michigan people at some point. They're all
Yeah.
friends with. One thing that we did that was super super fun was there was like a regional get together at like Illinois
Oh.
in Champaign, like the University of Illinois or Illinois University, whichever way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like a bunch of different Filipino organizations met up there there was like classes throughout the day, like 30-minute sessions with like Filipino business owners or like someone like artists or something. So you could join the session. They would just do a little talk about stuff. And then like we would all like party or there'd be events at night or something like that. And it was like one of the coolest things ever. I forget what they used to call it, but it was so cool.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And
That's
for
a,
me and Nate coming from like not being around Filipinos ever, like that was like a cool experience.
yeah, yeah. I I definitely like that there is like this Filipino thing here, and also like because I've told Lolo like, oh, I joined like a Filipino organization. He's always so excited to hear what I
Nothing more.
learned.
Yeah. That's his pride and joy. And
Yeah.
Lolo is grandpa, Filipino grandpa.
Yes. Yeah.
And nothing makes him prouder than him being one of the founders of the Filipino Association in
Mm-hmm.
Flint.
Yep.
So that the fact that you're part of one is like
Yeah.
sure makes him super pumped.
Yeah. One day he's like, hold on. And he's like searching through his bedroom and he comes out with like this like CD
Mhm.
and he's like, oh, let's play it. And it's like him on stage doing the dances when he was one of the founders. And he like
No
wanted me
way.
to watch the whole thing and I was like, this is great. He's like, yeah, that's me. That's me. I was like, nice, Lolo.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could go back and meet them when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, like just to be like in the association and just like see them like moving around and dancing and you know all
Oh
that good
yeah.
stuff. It would have been wild.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Go back in time and see how they were.
Uh, yeah. So what else is going on in Grand Valley? What's the dating scene like? You got a man?
The dating scene. I feel like the dating scene just in general nowadays is so hard, right? Like I feel like a lot of people use dating apps and like it
Hmm.
works for some people, but I feel like a lot of it's like for hookups and like I'm not for that.
Yeah.
Like nothing against it, but I don't know, it's really
Hmm.
hard to find someone who's like mature enough on my level where like I don't want to date to just date, like I want to date because I see a future kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find someone who's ready for something like that.
Hmm.
Or like knows or find someone who knows like what they want in life. Like they're still trying to find themselves out. So I feel like you kind of have to
Hmm.
like figure out who you are and like be happy with who you are before you jump in a relationship too.
Hmm.
So obviously I've been on a couple dates, but a lot of them were not great.
Yeah. How did you meet those people that you went on dates with?
Um, in the beginning, I was going on a lot of dating apps because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how else to meet, and all of
Uh huh.
those were really bad.
Okay.
Like, just not good gentlemen
Like
or
tell me.
nothing.
Yeah. Like tell me. Like can just give me a good example of like you know what I mean?
Like, uh, there was this one date like I'm the type of person like I don't like the guy to pay for everything. So
Hmm.
we were planning on going to a movie and then like eating Korean barbecue afterwards. And so like I was like,
Nice day.
yeah, yeah, right. So
Hmm.
I paid for the movie because I like assumed he was gonna pay for dinner.
Hmm.
And like we go to dinner and he like barely touched his food, but like literally the entire time, I'm not even exaggerating, every 5 minutes he's like, you're so pretty. And like that just made me so
That's weird.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like once or twice is good, but then
Mm-hmm.
after that it's like okay.
Yo, that just I could just profile him right now. Like he was probably just so nervous, like literally nothing to say, and he was just like blurting it out. Like I gotta say something, gotta say. Oh, you're pretty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, and then at the end he was like, "Oh, we're gonna pay separate," and then I was like, "Oh, okay, like whatever." And then he's like, "Let me buy you donuts," because he knows I like donuts. So I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this guy one last shot," kind of thing. And then he
Hmm.
bought me one donut, which cost like $1.
Yo, 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 you thought you were being smart, but really he's the smartest man in the room because here's why. Because you're like, all
See,
right, I'm going to pay for the movie, which is what, like $15, right? And then
yeah,
Korean barbecue is like twice as much as that or more. And
Mhm.
he was like, "This girl ain't
Mhm.
about to outsmart me. I know that's
Mhm.
the cheap half."
Yeah. Yeah. But at the Korean barbecue, I paid for my own. He paid for
I know.
his. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this was like in the beginning of the dating scene, you know. I learned as I went that I was like, okay, that's not happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the date, he was like, "Oh, next time we hang out, you can come over. I live in my parents' basement." And I was like, "Nope."
At least he was honest. He
I mean,
was like,
that's true.
"Nah, I got some roommates." You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. He was honest. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, if he's like telling someone that you're pretty like all the time, like just looking at you, like yeah, that's definitely not good because like all right,
Mm.
but am I like is there anything else?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what else? What else is there to me? You know? Yeah, but
I've ran into the opposite issue and like um I would like go on a date with someone or something like that before Rachel, even Rachel like um uh, I wasn't the person to be like you're pretty, you're beautiful, you're this, you're like gassing someone up. It was like me genuinely trying to get to know someone to see if I wanted to spend time with you.
mhm.
Like if it was worth exploring more. So
Yeah.
like for my time of because a lot of times I ran into the issue of like does this person see me as a friend? Does he not see me as a friend? Like I
Mhm.
always felt awkward like broaching the non-friend subjects in a
Yeah.
way. So like I erred on the side of I'm trying to get to know you and see if you're crazy or if this is worth more time or money or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that for a fact. Like even Rachel was just like, "Is this dude gonna like? Is this going anywhere?" You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was just me like really doing my homework because I don't just hang out with just like anybody or
Anyone.
spend my time with anybody.
Yep.
Um, and stuff like that. So I could see, uh, yeah, he was like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've learned from those experiences, and like now I'm more in an area where I've stopped using dating apps cuz it's just like it's not going anywhere. Um
Yeah.
but I think like I've met people in classes, but like it's just kind of like eh. And I think like the furthest one, and it's funny because we're friends actually right now, which is nice because it's nice to be friends first and kind of like learn things about each other, and
Yeah.
then see where it goes from there, right? We actually met at the bar, and we were both forced there by our friends, and like we both didn't want
Okay.
to be drinking or anything. So, and I
Uh,
approached him because he's more introvert and I'm more extrovert. So
mm-hmm.
you know that like our first time we hung out was nice because he was like very different from how other guys have approached me. Like other guys like always want something else or like they ask like all the wrong questions, but he was like I could generally tell that he just wanted to get to know me. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like very nice, also like very respectful, you know, and like things like guys should do, like opening up your door and stuff, you know, like that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like if you're gonna use dating apps, I think that just because you match doesn't mean it's a date.
yeah.
Like for
Yep.
me, like if you match with someone, like oh yeah, we're gonna be messaging back and forth for a minute before
Mhm.
I spend my hard-earned money on a date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like it's just like weeding out those people. Like if you can't have a conversation through text, what are we gonna do in person? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
Yeah.
then if they're bad at texting back or bad at communicating or whatever it may be, then all right, this is not a priority.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of or like you're not even interested in really figuring it out in a way.
Mhm.
So you can
Yeah.
kind of like one action can lead you to assume some things down the future anyway.
Yeah. It's funny too because a lot of my friends are also in this area right now in their life where like they're trying the dating apps and stuff and they're like
Uh,
too shy to ask certain questions. Like how do you know if a guy is like there to hook up with you or if they're there to actually get to know you or actually want to go on a date, right? And I'm like, just
Hmm.
be straight up. Like I think like just being honest in general is like the best thing. Like tell them like I'm not looking for anything more than like just getting to know you. Like I'm not here for a hookup kind of deal,
Yeah.
and see where that goes from there.
I think honesty is like the most important, like the key to everything. Like whether you're there to hook up or whether they're to get to know someone, just be honest
Hmm.
straight up anyway. And if it's not a connection or it's not the same, you're not there for the same idea,
Yeah,
you're not down with it, then you can just end it quick. Boom, done. Okay, sounds good.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, but I think the worst thing, the worst thing that you can do is not be genuine and not tell the truth. Like for
Hmm.
instance, I've had so many times when I knew that like girls like were interested in me or whatever like that, and then they would like literally lie about the things that they were interested in and liked
Oh
because they
yeah.
knew that I liked those things.
Just so
You know what
they
I
seem
mean?
more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm a master of like seeing someone else's strategy, and
Hmm.
like one person was like, "Yeah, I really like old Chris Brown," and like you can freaking probably
Throw out a song.
check out my Instagram stuff or like check out like my socials to see that I like Chris Brown. You know what I mean? That's not like
Hmm.
a crazy thing to find. And so like, oh yeah, I'm really down with like old school Chris Brown. I was like, okay, like what song are we talking here? And
Yeah.
it was like something from their last album. I was like, all right, you're just playing with like this
Yeah.
ain't true. Like, come on, bro. Like
Yeah.
like now you're just trying to play me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and I think that's the worst thing that like people can do is like, oh yeah, I like basketball. Oh, you just saying that because I like basketball, or like I like art. I'm really into graphic design. Like I'm really getting into it. It's really interesting to me. And like, do I do that? No, like you're not really. So it's not the fact that you find someone that likes exactly what you like. But I
Hmm.
think what's the important thing is finding someone that has the same mental processes as you,
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that.
and then you
Having
can be like, oh, I'm open to learning about it. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna like it, but like at
right.
least I'll try to like I'll go to like if you don't like ballets, like I'll go to the ballet with you. Like no
Yeah.
problem. I can find something cool about anything. But there are people out there like, nah, like I just want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like people get too much into the strategy of it, where it's like almost like manipulating. Like I've had people be like, "Oh, I cannot text this person for 3 days after I get their number. Like I will not do that. Like that is the hardest rule ever. Like no, absolutely
Yeah.
not." And it's just like, dude, you're stupid. You're already like trying to manipulate. You're already
Yeah.
trying to like be dishonest. If you want to text someone, text them.
Just
If you
text them.
don't,
Yep.
don't. Like it comes down to just your intentions in the beginning is to manipulate and like play a game.
Hmm.
Like this isn't a
Hmm.
game. If you want to get to know someone, text them. Period.
Also, if
End of
you have to
story.
do something like that, it's like worth being in a relationship. Like if you have to fake who you are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Where's it gonna go? You're faking it in
Yeah.
the beginning, and then you're gonna find out, a month or whatever later that is just like not it, or that
Yeah.
person finds out that you were lying the whole time, and then it's not it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I've definitely had
Yeah.
people do the same thing with me. They're like, or they find out I love anime, and they're like, "Oh yeah, me too." And I'm like, "Oh cool. Like what?"
Pokemon. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Pokemon cards back in the day. Yeah, like
Exactly.
that. Yeah, that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pikachu. Pika
Yeah.
Pika.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty.
Yeah. You're pretty. But did I tell you yet? You pretty. Yeah. No,
Do the
literally.
steak, Charmander Char, right? Charmander Char. uh,
Oh, I swear. People be
yeah,
funny, man.
yeah, yeah, and you can try. You could find out the fakes real quick.
Mhm.
Like I can pretty much start up a conversation with anybody and you know speak about something and try to relate to them in any way,
Mhm.
but I was never a person just like fake my interests to so I was never worried about someone else liking like being impressed
Yeah.
uh by me, because at the end of the day I was very very tuned in to like, okay, like I want someone to like me for me and think that I'm cool for the right reasons, because I'm not here to uh waste my time and effort because I got a lot going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's definitely It's really funny to me because there's so many guys that are like, "Oh, there's so many guys probably in your DM, and you act like you can't get a boyfriend. You could have a boyfriend." And I'm like, "Yeah, I could. I could. Like, all honesty, I could. But is there a connection, right? Like, I'm not just gonna date anyone just because I can. Like, I have certain
Yeah.
expectations, especially after, like, my past
Hmm.
relationship. Like, there's certain things that are like I want and that I'm not going to settle for less. And like, this is who I am, and you need to accept me for me."
Yo, that's such a goofy comment to make to somebody. Like they're straight on some goofy shit. Like if you're like, hey, you probably got a lot of people in your DMs. This is like, okay, does he have like? I'm just throwing that out there to see what she says back. Like, are there other people? And then
Uh-huh.
number two, so that's just bad. That's number one. That's a
Yeah.
bad. And then number two, you're just like, oh, you're pretty insecure, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
like, or the person that's asking is super insecure about it as well. So like, not a good question to ask.
No, it's
Like,
not. Every time someone asks me that, I'm just like automatically I'm just irritated. I'm like, "Are you really?" Like,
yeah.
or they'll be like, "Oh, you're just like you're too picky." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." I have expectations.
I'm
Maybe
too
you're
picky.
not. Yeah. Maybe you're not picky
Yeah.
enough. I don't know.
I guess it just depends on what you're being picky about. Like it's
See,
okay to be picky. It's just what are you being picky about? If it's like something just super superficial all the time, then yeah,
mhm.
you're probably too picky. Like if let's just be honest, if you're a 5 and you're trying to get a 10, like what are we talking about here? Like
Yeah.
your expectations are way too high, right?
Mhm.
And so how do you do that? You either elevate yourself in some type of way or you're just going to blame the other person for being too picky, right?
Mhm.
Or not or whatever, right? Um so I think that's a very important thing, like okay, for instance, like what kind of guy are you looking for?
I honestly just I want a guy who can make me laugh, right? Like a good sense of humor. I want a guy who
Mm,
knows what he wants, right? Like is passionate about what he wants to do in life. And I need that person to also be able to like support me in that way, right? Like be able to be like go for what you want to go for in life, and like vice versa, like having that support system there. Like I honestly just want someone I can come home to and like be able to talk about my day, and they're like generally listen to me
mhm,
and like is interested in what I want to do in life and who I am, who I want to become, kind of type deal.
mhm.
So,
I'm going to challenge you on something on one thing that you said there.
okay, go ahead.
Someone that knows what they want.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
No.
No.
Why so?
Because I think that something that's way more important is someone that has the uh, the mental pathways and the mental uh, the mental like skills to figure
Mhm.
it out.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's not that they don't need to know what they want to do with their
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I have a lot of tangible things
Mhm.
that I know that that person is going to be successful once they get an opportunity.
No,
Because a lot of times it's like I just need the opportunity. I don't know
mhm.
what I want, but I just need an opportunity. And once I get that opportunity, I have the skills to be successful.
I maybe that's a better way of putting it. No, I feel like I agree with what you're saying actually.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Like, I hate that. What are you gonna be in 5 years? I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out though.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
exactly. That's something I want. I just don't want to
Uh,
be like, "Oh, so what's your plan?" They're just like, I don't know. Just kind of wing it.
yeah.
Work
I don't know.
work out.
I'm looking for opportunities, but
Yeah.
then it like comes up to like also like, what are you doing right now? Like, are you just being a child? Like, are you how are you moving? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Are you moving like a like a teenage boy? Are you focused? Are you someone that is focused on a task? Are you
Mhm.
whatever that task may be? Like I'm not gonna say you need to be a doctor, but are you
Yeah.
whatever your do you have a passion? Like for me, like like my passion was art, music, things like that,
Mhm.
which a lot of people would be like, you need a real job. You need to find a real
Yeah.
job. This person needs to have a real, you know.
Mhm.
So the point is that it doesn't matter what it's in, but if you're work hard at it, you're passionate
Mhm.
about it, you're focused, like those things are disciplined.
Yeah.
You have mental you're like compassionate, you're a good learner, you're not stuck in your ways, you're willing to change, you think about how your actions affect other people. Like all those things are
Yeah.
extremely important, and none of that has to do with what you're going to where what you want to do with your life.
That no, you got a point there. Yeah. No, I
You know
agree
what I
with
mean?
everything you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like I want someone who's a good communicator because I feel like communication's like key for me in a
It's the most
relationship.
important thing.
Yeah.
It's the most
But
important thing.
like just being honest and open, right? Like if I do something you don't like, just tell me, like let's just talk it out. Or like if you're going somewhere and we had plans, like just tell me, like being
Yeah.
open to stuff.
Yeah, my feelings are going to hurt cuz you but at least like you're honest with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Like people I like to give people credit and say they don't want other people to feel bad, and that's a lot of times where they're like misleading or tell
Mhm.
partial truths and things like that. So they think they know how someone's going to react. But I
Mhm.
think that to get to that space, you have to breed an environment that allows for that to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like for just a general high instance of happening. Like a dude tells a girl something and she like turns up. Like obviously the dude's never gonna want to be honest with you if he knows
Yeah.
that you're gonna do that. I don't want that. I don't want those problems. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's when the lie. And then he lied to me. Well, he can't freaking tell you the truth either. So what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that part. It's
So my thing is that if you want someone to be like that, you have to make sure that you're creating an environment for that person to be that way, and
Mhm.
also communicate it. Like I need you to be honest with me. Like even if I freaking hate it,
Mhm.
I will be mature about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, that's the thing I feel like is really hard to find right now too, because there's a lot of people I feel like you might say something and you're just being honest, and it just like takes so much offense to it, and you're like, okay, like,
Yeah, just get defensive.
yeah,
Like I think that's like that is you're right. It is really hard to find and say, all right, I don't like this about you, and then you think about it, and you're like, just before you react, just think about it.
yeah,
And a lot of times, like the good people will be like, I could see how you could think that.
hmm,
Yeah, I could see how that is. Uh, and be like, but this is, and it can be dialogue going back and forth. Yeah, that could be it. I get that, but here's why, or
yeah,
like here's my side, right? And then it's not yelling, it's not an argument, it's a
mm-hmm.
discussion of ideas, and that's so important to have that open communication.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um, I just like to me that's important because I feel like in my past relationship that communication wasn't there, and like that led
Hmm.
to a lot of problems, right? Because like I personally got into like a lot of situations where like I became scared to say how I felt because I felt like my feelings were wrong. And
Hmm.
so like I don't think that's healthy because I honestly don't think anyone's feelings are wrong, right? Like I think it's a big thing, like it takes two people for a relationship, and I don't think anyone's ever 100% wrong. So like just being able to communicate about stuff and be like, "Oh, and I understand why you were acting this way or why you did
Hmm.
this. That makes sense. Let's work on this, or maybe I could try a little bit on this part on my part." You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think anybody's feelings are ever wrong.
Mhm.
um, I will say that having emotional discipline is important.
Mhm.
um, so it's hard to, like, there's some people that the same instance happens to them and they're sad, totally fine. Now there's people that this same thing happens to them and they go with a baseball bat and smash someone's window out. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
two different levels of this.
There is.
Both emotions are like you're not wrong for feeling sad, but how you react to them is obviously super
Hmm.
important.
That that's what that's one thing my dad has taught me is like your feelings are never wrong, but how you act on them can make you wrong, right? Like if
Yeah.
I feel a certain way and I'm sad about it and we just talk about it, cool, but if I like go out like you said and I start smashing someone's car at the base, I'm automatically wrong, you know?
Yeah, there's no right out of that. You're not
No.
that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and that comes with I think that comes with the maturity thing. It's
Mhm.
a whole maturity thing, and having that emotional discipline to sit, think, breathe, try to learn their side.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't want to learn about the other person's side. Let me put you in my shoes. All right, let me look at myself through someone else's lens.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm starting to understand why they thought that way. Hey, is this why you thought this way? Like, because I do this? Oh, yeah. Then it's a healthy conversation
Yeah.
opposed to getting defensive. Because I find that a lot of people have a hard time being accountable for their faults.
Mhm.
It's okay to have faults, everybody has them. But if
Yep.
you're just don't want to accept that you don't know or that there's something wrong with you,
Mhm.
let's say, that you need to work on, that's everybody.
Yeah.
But there's some
Yeah.
people that just will not admit it, and there's nothing ever wrong with them, right?
No, no. I think golf has actually taught me that. Like I've sometimes like in the moment I can be like, no, I'm right and like blah 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 blah, right? But then after like give me a couple minutes, I'll calm down and then I'll be like, hold up, let me think back on what I did and then I
Hmm.
can admit when I'm wrong or if I did
Hmm.
something and then be able to talk about it and apologize, right? If it's on my
Hmm.
part. So and like learning
Yeah.
from it too, like just because you apologize like is one step, but if you don't fix it or you don't like realize what you did, doesn't
Or
really
just
get
like
anywhere.
try.
Yeah, like
Like,
trying.
yeah, if you say sorry and that you'll change or you're gonna fix something or work on it, you don't have to be perfect.
Right. Yeah.
It's most of the time it's just a habit
Yeah.
that needs to be broken. Like I crack my fingers. You know what I mean? And people are gonna be like, "Stop." Okay, I'm gonna stop. And then like an hour later, I'm cracking my fingers, like
Yeah.
without even thinking about it, right? So I think effort is
Yeah.
what's important. That if someone truly cares, they're gonna give effort into
Effort.
it and be like, "Oh, my bad." Like, "Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it may be. But also, it's important how you come at that person, how you give the criticism too.
That's true.
So I don't want to. So it's not just like if someone's yelling at you, yeah, you're gonna yell back for sure. Um, but yeah, so you want someone that I guess um, is honest with you, that has um, the mental skills, like I said, to be passionate about something, to be
Mm-hmm.
focused on something, to be driven, um, conflict resolution. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is super important. And the question is how do you get someone like that?
Exactly.
Hmm?
I don't.
How do you think?
It's hard. I don't know. Everyone always tells me it's like when you're least expecting it, right? And like I think also how you are with that person, like you said, like how are you responding with them? How are you communicating? What are you doing
Hmm.
that makes that environment? So,
I get it. I think that people that have that you're looking for,
mhm.
um, they have to meet someone with the same energy. And people that are like that are thinkers.
Yeah,
And and if they and they can they don't want extra problems.
yeah,
Like if they say, "Oh, there's people out there. You're like, oh, that's a lot of work."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a lot of
don't
work, man.
don't want to put in that effort.
Like it's not worth the effort. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mhm.
Like even after you give the effort, it's still not worth the effort. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
Um, so if someone is truly focused on that, they don't want someone coming in and like for instance, like there's let's say there's a fighter, like a boxer or
Mhm.
something. They're obviously super disciplined in whatever they do. They have to train every single day. They have to train 2-3 times a day. They have to be away from their family. They have to do all these things. And so if they get some person that won't be like, you don't love me because all you do is go do your thing you're passionate about, right? Like, I
Mhm.
should be your passion, right? I'm
Yeah.
taking you away from your passion now. I'm
Mhm.
trying to say, come hang out with me and not do what you love doing, right?
Yep.
Like, a person that doesn't want that situation. They're like, I love what I do. This is important. And so they look for someone to obviously be there for them, support that dream.
Yep.
And but they also are like, okay, like, yes, you're important or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's also that aspect where they're just like, I don't want someone to take me away from the things that I love. I think that's the thing that I
Yeah.
hate the most about a lot of people in their relationships is that they went in there liking something, and then they start with someone else. Someone else comes into the equation, and then they just totally change and just do whatever the other person likes because they want it to work, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Someone that you're looking for is not going to want to do that.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, okay, so with me and Rachel, Rachel had her thing, I had my thing, and we were separate things, but we supported each other on their things. I know that doing that stuff makes her happy. I'm going to push her to keep going.
Mhm.
Don't worry about me. I'll go watch a TV show. You go edit. That's
Yep.
fine. You know what I mean? It's like that type of supportiveness where I understand that sometimes I'm not going to be the star,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Some
Yeah.
people need to be the star 100 all 24/7.
But it
Not
should be
me.
it should be like that, like you're saying, like for example, I love working out, I work out a lot.
Mhm.
And with my ex it was like, "Oh, we got to do other things. We don't have time to work out."
Yeah.
And like I just let it be and I like gained so much weight. And then after I came out of the relationship, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't ever want
Mhm.
this to happen again. Where did I take myself, right?" And so like going into another relationship, like I want that person that's like if they're not a huge workout person and I'm like I'm going to go
Mhm.
work out, they just be like, "Yeah, go for it." Like I'm going to do
Yeah.
my own thing. Like that's cool.
Yeah. I'm not a big workout person, but I know it's important to you. Go ahead. Go
Mhm.
do that thing. I'm going to go
Mhm.
do this thing, and then we'll meet up later. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's totally fine. That's how it should be. The one thing that I made very clear to Rachel before during, the beginning of everything is like we can't lose our independence, whether it's through dating or being married or even having kids. We
Mhm.
cannot lose our independence of who we are. We have to have some alone time. We have to do stuff for us. We have to not lose our identity
Mhm.
because 20 years down the road, you might look back and be like, dang,
Yeah.
what happened to that person? Now the
Yeah.
person should still be there. I think that that's why people get super sad, like when their kids leave. Their kids are everything, right? Kids
Mhm.
are everything. Kids leave and they got nothing.
Mhm.
Now what? Now they're not happy.
Exactly.
Now they kind of gotta refine themselves. They gotta
Mhm.
do all this stuff, and so I think me seeing that down the road, it's like, okay, I can do something right now to
Mhm.
stop that from happening.
You gotta remember who you are as an individual.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that if you give off that energy where it's like supportive,
Mhm.
um, and you're honest with them, and things like that, like the things that we talked about, I think that that's what guys look for, man.
Yeah.
It's like honestly, like a girl that's not going to bring more problems than they already have. If you're the
Yeah.
person that's solving problems and not making them, you're already 50%.
Exactly. Yup. That part.
uh, yeah.
That's what I'm looking
And so
for.
and so that if when you're out and about and when you're out and about, doing whatever and you're giving off those vibes, you're coming off that way as someone that's just like gets the crap done is about their business, mature, smart, determined, independent. Like all those things are extremely attractive to guys, and it's not always there a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Now they don't want someone that's like going to the club being sloppy because the person that is going to be at the club that's getting those people are also people that are sloppy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about? So
Mhm.
whatever energy you're giving back out is the energy that you're going to get.
Mhm. Yeah.
Period. Just like when you were talking about that situation at the club the other day or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Like you both were there because people brought you, right?
Yep.
You both weren't drinking,
Yep.
didn't want to drink, right?
Mhm.
Like it was the same. You got the energy that you put into the thing,
Yep.
right? And it
Exactly.
just happens that way. So was it really random? Like some people say, oh, it just happens when it happens. Like maybe,
It's like a
or maybe
vibe.
you were putting off the wrong energy,
Mm.
and finally, when you were putting out the right energy, it just came, and it seems random.
Yeah.
I don't live my life thinking that things randomly happen. I
Mhm.
create the best context possible to bring the best percentage of getting whatever I want. You can
Mhm.
skew probability.
Yeah. I also have heard a lot of guys who've like shown interest in me. Like the reason why they shown interest in me was because of my confidence, like how I presented myself, right? Like I seem confident when I'm doing who I am, my
Hmm.
style, how I dress, how I talk, everything, right? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like so scared, and it's like just be who you are. I mean, at the end of the day, like if they're not for you, you were fine before them, right? You'll be fine
Hmm.
without them. So,
Right. There's a fine line there too. There's a fine line there too. Too much of anything is a bad thing,
that's true.
right? So
Confidence, not
my
cocky.
thought there, confidence is extremely important, but you don't like a lot of times being confident can push people away.
Yeah.
Like if it's like dudes like challenges, like
Mhm.
they probably see that as a challenge, right? Someone that
Yeah.
doesn't need them, right? I think the one thing that I hate the most is like when women, their way of catching a guy is being the damsel in distress,
Mm.
and they always get the dude, the dummy that's like always trying to save somebody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the worst. You see that all the time, and that's the worst situation you can be in. Like
Mhm.
then you're always constantly, or let's say a girl trying to save a dude, right? Dude's
Mhm.
the damsel in distress, and the girl's trying to save him, change him, whatever it may be. Like if you start out a relationship with that context, then you're always going to be dependent on someone in one way, and then doing all the work for someone on the other way, and that's
Yeah.
just not a good mix ever.
Mm-mm.
So if both people come in with that confidence that, hey, I'm good, and that's hard to get, but if we're both good, we both want the same thing, we're both like have interest in each other, let's see where this goes, and
Yep.
not setting expectations, I think that's the best context to start out something
Yep.
anyway. Yeah.
100% agree with that.
Hmm. So yeah, hopefully the next time that you're on, uh, you have a little update on how that how the this new, I don't even call it a relationship, but this new possibility goes, or it didn't go, and why, and all that good stuff. So that'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see where it goes.
The show. But I know you got homework to do. It's been about an hour and a half, so I'll let you go. I know that we before this we were like, all right, well, a lot of times like, all right, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, who knows? But always
Mhm.
when conversation gets flowing, it just goes. So
Goes.
I know I know you got homework, all that good stuff. You got your last little year coming
Mm.
up, so I know that you're working hard, and I'm proud of you. And if you need anything, just let me know, and we'll see you soon. And you'll be on again. I know you
Mm.
will.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here. And it was nice talking to you. And I can't wait to be back on here sometime soon.
Oh, all right. That's it for another episode of Nick versus Everyone. Once again, with me is Kiana, and we'll see you guys soon. All right. Peace.
Peace.